Welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're doing well. Which one is it? Watkins or Sesko? Which one would you take as your striker at Man United? This is the question that many Man United fans all around the world are asking. Which one would they take? I would genuinely take Watkins. There's many other people out there who would take Sesko, but we're going to clear up where all these reports and news is coming from, because there's lots of reports coming out that the United board is split on which player they should be signing. Should it be Watkins or should it be Sesko? We're going to be discussing that and lots more in today's show, so make sure you stick around, make sure you hit the like button on this video, and if you're not already subscribed to the Man United stream channel, what you're waiting for, hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest news and more from one single daily dose. Okay, so let's kick off today's show with, of course, the biggest question on everyone's mind. I can see social media feeds going crazy on whether it should be Watkins or Benjamin Sesko to Man United. Now, we've said it for weeks. Man United have had Ollie Watkins in their sights. In fact, they even made an inquiry and even made a soft offer, we're being told, to Aston Villa for about 25 million, which was rejected outright by Aston Villa, and Aston Villa made it very clear that Ollie Watkins is not for sale. However, we have heard in recent days that Ollie Watkins wants that move to Man United. Why not? He wants to play for the biggest club in the world. Of course he does. So Ollie Watkins has made it clear to people around him and at Aston Villa that if United come in for him, he wants them to accept the offer and move. Of course, Villa will only accept a proposal or a decent offer. They're not going to take any offer that comes through the door. So Ollie Watkins will have to wait and see if United can put up the funds for him. However, the big question mark also is on Benjamin Sesko. We've heard in the last few days United are interested in signing Benjamin Sesko. But why? Why is it these two? Where's this news coming from? Well, we've heard from sources very close to Man United that there's a split in the Man United board. There are some people at Man United who want Ollie Watkins. They like his experience as a Premier League striker. They know he can give us goals and he's a proven player. So why not bring in somebody who's already knows exactly what's expected of him in the Premier League and he can hit the road running? Whereas Benjamin Sesko, there's question marks on whether he can actually do that. However, there are certain people at United who are pushing for the Benjamin Sesko deal. One being Christopher Vivell, the head of recruitment. United bought this guy in to do this very job, to go out there and get the very best young players to come to United. And this guy, Vivell, he wants Benjamin Sesko. He is pushing for this deal. He's telling United that this is an opportunity that they can't miss. This is like one of those lifetime opportunities where a young player is up and coming. He could be world class, one of the best players in the world, one best of strikers in the world, and this is an opportunity that United cannot let go of. That's what he's saying to the rest of the board. But the rest of the board are not fully convinced on spending this much money on one single player, money that they frankly haven't even got. So he is convincing Ineos and the rest of them, the Glazers, wherever it is, to put their money where their mouth is and go out there and get Benjamin Sesko. Will he be able to convince them? Will he not? In fact, some fans are not convinced about Benjamin Sesko. There's a good split on fans here. There's 50-50. Some fans are actually genuinely saying, in fact, I can hear some very sensible opinions from fans coming that are saying that, look, why would we want to spend so much money on this young star when we can go and get someone like Watkins, who we know can guarantee us the goals and has experience in the Premier League? Now, in many years past, I would have said this is exactly what we should be doing. We should be thinking with our heads, not our hearts. But Benjamin Sesko, this is one of those things that you look at and think, if we let this guy go, would he come to bite us in the backside in another 4 or 5 years? Would he turn into one of the best players in Europe? And we're there thinking we could have signed him like we did with Haaland. We could have signed Haaland. We took a massive risk on Cristiano Ronaldo when he was not the finished article. But look what happened with Cristiano Ronaldo. We have to take risks. In fact, the other day I was watching the movie on Air Jordan, Michael Jordan, and how the Nike went out after him and how they pursued him and how it was a huge risk for a company the small as Nike at the time it was quite small compared to Converse and Adidas, and they went and got Michael Jordan on the books, and well, the rest is history. Once they signed Jordan, he became one of the biggest basketball stars in the world, and of course the Air Jordan trainers, sneakers, became iconic as part of the Nike brand. But look, I'm saying we need to be open-minded right now. Cesco is an option, but if they're going to try and pull our pants down, then we need to say to Cesco, look, we're not going to do that. We're not going to put our money all in one thing. Yeah, we're going to have to go elsewhere. And if you really want to join United, you need to speak to your club and say to them, look, they need to accept the offer United are going to put forward. United haven't officially put an offer forward, but we are also hearing from some reports, some journalists, that United are very close to reaching a valuation for Benjamin Sesko with RB Leipzig, and they could put a formal offer in the next day or two. This is going to be huge news if United pull this off. It's going to be one of the biggest signings in the summer transfer window. Of course, United, without Champions League football, making these kind of moves just tells you that this club will never lie down, never give up. That is the motto of Man United. Always keep on rising from the ashes like a phoenix. That's what United are. Anyway, moving on to other transfer news. Breaking transfer news, Garnacho could be on his way to Chelsea. We're hearing that Chelsea are going to make a formal bid for Garnacho. We're going to have to wait and see if that actually happens or whether these are just vicious rumours. We're going to, of course, bring you all the latest developments on the transfers, on Sesko, on Watkins, on Garnacho, and much more as soon as we get any further developments and news. So make sure you hit the subscribe button so you do not miss a single beat. You are watching the Man United Stream channel by the fans for the fans.